our kids didn't feel a lot of the pain from what's about to happen here.
The coronavirus pandemic is closing schools, but for Pinnacle Charter in Federal Heights, 80% of their 2,000 students depend on free or reduced lunch. So without school in session, how will these children get the meals they need?
We're going to use our transportation system to actually get these meals out to the kids and try to meet those kids where they are.
Starting tomorrow morning, Pinnacle is deploying school buses out to 12 of their centrally located bus stops in North Denver, where bus drivers will hand out breakfast and lunch bags to students. It's every day this week from 8 to 9:30 a.m.
Our bus drivers know these kids. They see them every single day. They know all of their names.
Pinnacle has their cafeteria lunch service team preparing the meals. They're made up of items that won't spoil. School leaders say employees will take safety measures to cut down on the potential spread of COVID-19.
But they'll have hand sanitizer. They'll be using rubber gloves, which is why it's going to be really a stop, grab your bags, and move along and go.
Pinnacle will also offer a drive-up option at their school located off West 84th Ave. Their goal to make sure no child goes hungry during these trying times.
Just because the kids aren't in our building doesn't mean that they're not our responsibility.
Summer school looks full because during the pandemic, the classrooms were so empty.
And attendance is really good too, which is great.
This is the Pinnacle Charter School in Thornton, a place where most families need bags of food to take home, a place where remote learning could not emulate in-person learning for teachers like Farrah Ross.
Yes, and that has had a significant impact on so many kids.
But in years past, so many kids could not attend summer school because they couldn't get there.
Yeah, we've never provided the transportation piece for summer school, and this has been amazing.
School CEO Chad Miller decided to provide buses to eliminate a barrier.
We know their ability to get to school is a challenge. It is during the year as well. We transport half of our kids here just in a normal school day. So I knew transportation was an issue, and I wanted there to be equity for these kids to be able to find their way to school.
You know, a lot of times it's younger siblings that are, you know, being watched by older siblings, and so they don't have transportation if parents are working. So this has been a great opportunity for our kids that normally haven't been able to attend summer school.
Kids who lost time in the classroom due to COVID.
But when they were at home, we just couldn't get them to learn like we do when they're in class.
Now, Miller says, students will get back 80 hours of focused in-person learning over the extra 4-week session. The normal number of summer school students has tripled to about 700.
When they said 700, I was shocked, and I was like, that's a lot of kids.
If we didn't provide transportation, I would say about 250 of these kids would not be able to attend this 4-week summer school.
4 weeks to catch up on a year, now that they can get there.
Being able to provide transportation for our students is just, I mean, it is a priority.
In Thornton, Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
It is heartbreaking, but kids heading back to school have to prepare for the worst.
Today, students at a local school will learn what to do if there's an active shooter on campus. Pinnacle Charter School officials had teachers go through the training earlier this month with an armed gunman. Now students will get the training minus the gunman. Administrators want to teach the students about their options and empower them to act.
Some of these junior high kids are as big as I am. They can help in these situations, and keep in mind, you know, our kids are a big stakeholder in these situations. They can help us, and as we saw with the STEM shooting, the kids got involved, and so now it's time. We have to train these kids. We have to at least give them the skills and the tools and the empowerment.
It is still a very scary thought, but the training at Pinnacle Charter School in Thornton will be different by grade level.
So the high school students will be walked through what happened at Parkland High School in Florida.
We take them in and they go through the Parkland shooting, and they specifically learn what decisions the kids made in that situation. And there were some decisions made during that could have saved kids' lives had they known what to do.
The training is being done by a company called TAC One. They want to take the panic out of the situation and help kids make good decisions that can save their lives. Parents and the community are invited to watch.
I wish that did not have to be a thought.
Another high school, Columbine High in Littleton, Colorado, this time on the edge of Denver. it has been a horror.
Eyewitnesses say the two gunmen wearing black trench coats and black masks came in shooting and began working their way through the school.
Now to the school shooting, dredging up terrible memories of Columbine. A gunman opened fire at a middle school just 3 miles from Columbine High School.
Horrific scene east of Denver where a night at the movies has turned into a nightmare.
There's been a shooting reported at the Walmart on 9900 Grant Street. Multiple parties are down.
A school shooting, multiple injuries, this time outside Denver. And what is somewhat different about this case so far, there were 2 shooting suspects.
2 shooters came in and shot a couple of those kids. Now, apparently you say that those 2 shooters were disarmed by students.
What happens if you reload a pistol? If we're talking about active shooter and we're trying to empower you guys with a little extra knowledge to make good, safe decisions, why would that be important to know how that process looks or sounds like? I'm out of ammo, what happens? The slide locks to the rear, right? You guys seen that in the movies? Okay, this comes next. Do you hear that?
This is Pinnacle Charter School near Denver, Colorado. Like many schools across the United States grappling with the plague of mass shootings, Pinnacle is preparing for the day a gunman might walk through their front door. But here, the lesson plan goes beyond the regular lockdown drill. For the first time, all 2,000 students are getting advanced training in how to confront an active shooter. And that training starts with kindergartners.
After the STEM shooting happened, it made us really sit back and say, we've got to do something different here. And we have to do it now. We can't wait.
Tonight, terror in that STEM school outside Denver. An army of law enforcement officers descending on the scene after gunfire erupted just after lunchtime.
When those kids entered the classroom and the kids in the classroom reacted, that changed everything.
Chad Miller is Pinnacle's CEO.
It's not just administration and teachers leading these things. The kids need to have that empowerment as well, because when they're in that type of situation, they're making decisions too.
My name is Tara Martin. I am a kindergarten teacher at the Pinnacle Charter School. Thumbs up if you're ready.
Tara Martin has been a kindergarten teacher at Pinnacle for 8 years.
Let's roll. You have to think about it a lot. You have to pick your words very carefully. I use it a lot of, a bad person might come in. It's the first time I've done stuff with my children in my room with somebody training us.
What are we going to work on today, do you know?
Being safe.
Being safe, okay. You'll be amazed what a kindergartner, a first grader, and a second grader knows about these subjects.
Joe Deeden is a former cop. He now teaches kids and adults how to survive an active shooter. Today, his young students are all in kindergarten. Amelia Gauna is 5 years old.
Do you ever wonder about real life bad guys?
Yeah.
What do you wonder?
Like I wonder right now, maybe there's a bad guy coming right now.
Really? Do you worry about a bad guy coming to your school?
That's why we had locked out.
We have been discussing how when bad things happen, that it doesn't happen to everybody. They tend to ask, why do they do it? And that's the hardest part.
So why do we do a lockout or a lockdown?
Because we want to be safe.
They will frankly tell you, we're doing this so we don't get shot. We want to call it a safety drill, we want to call it a lockdown drill. One kid will say bad guy, and you got the other kindergartner saying, a shooter comes in here and tries to kill us all. Just think about where you might want to hide. Where would you want to hide in this room, do you think? Everybody want to try it? Yeah. Okay. Go hide. 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 Quick. Quick. Find a hiding spot and stay there. Find one and stay there. Hide. 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 Away from the door. Away from the door. Okay, everybody get super quiet. Super quiet. Hide.
I think it was right after we had a lockdown in our school and they asked if they were going to die. It makes me want to cry. It gets you right in the heart, and just thinking that a 5-year-old can picture themselves being in a situation where they're going to die or somebody's going to kill them is very traumatizing to you.
So you want to hide from the bad guys? Yeah, and wait for the police to come, right?
When the superhero.
Or the superheroes, right?
Superheroes are real, Mama.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. honestly, I think it makes me more sad. I don't like having to have them go through it, but with the world now, I'd rather them learn at this age, because as they get older, it'll be easier for them. And at some point, you got to teach them.
So it's going to be a barricade drill.
The older the students, the more intense the training. These kids are 5th graders.
In this room, what do you think our best option is to start trying to block or barricade the door? We teach them to identify the most realistic object that they could quickly move. Okay, 2 more, hurry, 2 more, right here. So we tell the kids, hey, it's not Hollywood. We're not trying to make this door bulletproof. All I want is 6 feet of stuff high and 25 feet deep that weighs 800 pounds.
Do you worry, though, that going through this kind of training is going to just increase that fear and anxiety?
I think the training helps. I think the training addresses the question that no one's talking about. So I think it actually lessens the fear and anxiety for the kids. When I see the kids going through the training, you see 0 anxiety, 0 fear on their faces. It's an age-appropriate training, number 1, and number 2, they're engaged.
My name is Brianna Centeno. I'm a 12th grade student at Pinnacle Charter School, and I'm the class president. My first lockdown drill was probably starting in like 1st grade.
Today, Brianna and her classmates are being trained to do the unthinkable, confronting a gunman face to face and working together to take the shooter down.
Get down low, look over your left shoulder.
There, get down, hard you can go. There you go.
There you go, the top. Hold on.
It felt really uneasy at first, but once I got into it and they taught me how to do it and I got to practice and I got a feel for it, it gave me more confidence in myself because obviously I didn't think that I could ever do anything like that.
Hit me here, reach up and grab my gun with that, reach over and grab me with that, and pull straight to the ground.
I would love it if in 15 years a child comes back and says, you know what, remember that training we did and we did that every year? I'm here because of that. And if one child comes back, as an adult and says that, or says, I saved my children because of this, it was worth it.
What does this mean? Okay, so you watch me the whole time, okay?
The world's changing, but we need to make sure they're prepared for it to keep them safe. That's the most important thing in my life, is making sure that my kids, and I tell them every day that I'm here to make sure that they're safe and happy, and that's how we live.
I'm so proud. Okay, go find a seat.
Even from somebody from the outside, if you want to do harm to a school, unfortunately don't pick ours, because we're preparing for that. If you want an easy target, we're probably not your easy target.
With concerns about pandemic learning loss, more districts around Colorado offered summer programs this year. But one school realized it couldn't just provide the classes and teachers, it needed to make sure kids had a way to get to school. Denver 7 education reporter Nicole Brady visited one location where it's not just summer school, but a host of summer services.
It may be June, but the buses are still pulling up to school each morning.
We have never had bus transportation ever, so this was a really big one. So we're really doing school as we did throughout the year.
Thanks to a grant, Pinnacle Charter School in Federal Heights was able to expand summer school and offer transportation to any student that wanted it this year. More than 700 students K through 12 are attending an extra month of classes.
They're doing an hour and a half of math every day, an hour and a half of literacy every day.
But it's not just academics.
So we really want want to make this a community hub and support our families.
In a community with a high number of low-income and working families, it's even more important for schools to provide the same services they do throughout the year.
This is Timbi's Tienda. It's our resource center. Students and their families can come through and everything's free.
The expanded summer is also a way to meet kids' emotional and mental health needs.
I actually had a lot of kids that were really excited to come to summer school this year. Leading up to the beginning of summer school, there were kids that were like, when does it start? When is summer school? I think largely because they wanted to be with their friends more, and they did miss out so much in this last year on that social time.
And the kids will still get a break in July, just enough time before the buses come around again in August.
And hopefully when August comes, then they can plow right into school and still be as successful as they were during the school year.
Nicole Brady, Denver 7.
Inside these classrooms, some of the greatest lessons aren't the ones that come from textbooks.
It's a place where I feel safe and I feel like it's a constant in my life.
That's straight-A student Miranda Day.
Miranda didn't share her story with anyone.
You see, Miranda and her mother, Tammy, are homeless. They've been sleeping in their van since April.
It can be cold outside and the car's running almost all night, trying to keep us warm. It's just difficult.
And last week, things got worse.
Our car broke down. Our home was gone. I didn't know what we were going to do.
She says the light at the end of the tunnel was gone.
No, there was one, but there wasn't one, but there was because of her.
Because of her.
When I learn those things, it really breaks my heart.
So Pinnacle Charter Middle School principal Kimberly Stalkup asked the community for a few simple items to help them.
The only thing she asked for, uniform clothes that fit her, dog food for her dog, as well as a warm coat for her mom.
And the gifts came rolling in.
Now we're up to $12,485 is what I just checked.
Not really anybody. I don't know why I got this money. I don't know why they did this for me, for us.
She says it's overwhelming.
There's no hope for us. I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, we have all the hope in the world.
And because of them,
all right, Officer Bob, I think we did it. You want to just pop the back? And
donations are now pouring in for other Pinnacle families experiencing homelessness too.
It's really the start of something even better.
A fresh start for those who need it most.
Families that are getting help, I hope the best for all of them. And I hope they're just as happy as us right now.
Ashley Michaels, Channel 2 News.
It's unfortunately a part of our world now, and there's a whole new way that some schools are training for them, which includes evacuation plans and fighting back. Fox 31's Kim Posey live to show us how Pinnacle Charter School in Thornton trained today using a very aggressive program. Kim?
Yeah, Jeremy, during a standard lockdown drill, students may hear the phrase locks, lights, out of sight. And that means to lock the door. Oops, here we go. Lock the door, turn off the lights, and then hide. But this training today was very different. This school drill takes active shooter training to a whole new level. Good. These middle school students at Pinnacle Charter School in Thornton learned the art of the takedown and how to assist a teacher by pinning the arms and legs of a bad guy. This training is very different than the standard lockdown training.
The teachers lock the doors, they hide, and then they just wait. What we teach is empowerment, so the teachers can make decisions, the students can make decisions as these things are happening.
So the students learn basic self-defense. They learn about CPR and basic first aid.
We're going to work on barricading doors.
And they're instructed what to do if they are locked in a classroom.
Okay, go. Give me those desks.
Joe Deeden is a former SWAT officer from Jeffco and founder of TAC One Consulting. He shows the kids how to block the door with furniture.
Okay, there you go.
And he shows them how to quietly evacuate using hand signals.
We're looking. And then now we're almost home free.
He wants students and staff to know they have options other than staying put.
It's important what people do in the first couple minutes.
Students seem to take it in.
I learned to barricade the door. After this, I think we would have more practice and we'll be more calm.
And school leaders believe it's a step in the right direction.
It's unfortunate we have to teach this, but we don't know where the dangers are in our society anymore.
Now, some people fear that this kind of training could be traumatic for kids, but students were able to opt out of this drill today, and there were counselors on hand in case they were needed. In Thornton, Kim Posey, Fox 31.
All right, Kim.
The Colorado High School Activities Association, or CHASA, is piloting a program recognizing esports in Colorado schools. The students at Pinnacle Charter School in Federal Heights were getting all their equipment ready this weekend.
We're building computers.
Eliana Ortiz is a sophomore at Pinnacle.
And you're going to put one screw in here.
She and a group of students spent their Saturday morning at school, assembling the computers they will use to compete in the school's new esports team.
It's really exciting for me. I've always loved video games, so this is just, whoa.
Everyone was excited. And we were just talking about it all day.
Junior James Pena says the announcement that CHASA would pilot an esports program was exciting and unexpected.
It was a surprise to my parents, definitely their parents as well. Like, but that's not real sport.
It's projected by 2020 esports is going to be a $1 billion industry.
Assistant Athletic Director Jared Shuck was excited to welcome students from the Strategic Games Club under the umbrella of athletics.
We are actually able to take your information technology side and your competitive side and playing games and mold it all into one to create this esports program.
Teams will be made of 3 members, competing in 2 different games, Rocket League and League of Legends. All esports students will have to meet athletic guidelines and policies, meaning the same grade checks and attendance rules as other sports. It also means the possibility of scholarships.
I didn't think that I could turn one of my passions of playing video games into something like this, to where I could have the opportunity to possibly get a scholarship from it.
So let the games begin.
When a Federal Heights principal found out that one of her students was homeless, she jumped into action.
A simple post asking for donations has turned the holidays around for that student and her mother. Now the community is trying to do even more as they come closer to finding housing.
Denver 7's Jessica Porter spoke to the family tonight.
When Tammy Amack and her daughter became homeless, she nearly lost her faith.
I don't think he's there sometimes, God, you know? But then I have my daughter, you could do it, Mom, you could do it, Mom.
That all changed this week when she learned the principal at her daughter's school had reached out to the Erie community to help.
We asked her what she wanted for Christmas, and she hesitated quite a bit, but we got her to tell us that she really wanted school uniform clothes that fit her, and she wanted a warm coat for her mom and some dog food for her dog.
Through social media, Stall Cup was able to make this 8th grader's Christmas list a reality, even gifting her a Kindle.
There's sometimes that she will cry. She'll need a moment to gather herself, but she says, okay, I'm done. She kind of picks herself up by her bootstraps and goes on throughout her day. You wouldn't know that she's struggling. Despite all that, comes to school, gets straight A's.
Donations have been pouring in.
We turn those into gift cards to King Soopers so they could have hot meals.
It's just been very hard.
Tammy lost her job as a senior caregiver. She and her daughter have been living out of their car since April. Finding affordable housing has been tough.
I applied everywhere. I was on the list in Denver, and I started at 129, 127, but now I'm at 9. I just found out yesterday. I don't know what it is, but it's God. It's got to be God.
Tammy says she's been working in the warehouse at the Denver Post, and her boss helped her with a car after her van broke down this week. All of this generosity, she says, is nothing short of a Christmas miracle.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone that's even put us in your heart. I know my daughter's a special little girl. You all really made her smile.
Now, you heard Tammy mention she is number 9 right now on the affordable housing list. She is praying that by Christmas, she'll have a warm home for her daughter. Until then, the community has set up a fund to help. If you would like to donate, go to thedenverchannel.com, click on Contact 7 Gives, and choose Help for Tammy Amack. Reporting live, Jessica Porter, Denver 7.
2 reports on this new stage of the vaccine plan tonight. Jeff Todd with answers to some of the more common questions from parents. Want to start, though, with Karen Morfitt at Pinnacle Charter School in Federal Heights. And Karen, that's hosting one of the several so-called vaccine equity clinics around the state.
That's right, Jim. It's part of the governor's Vaccine for All program. There'll be one of several sites. Here, the clinic will be open to everyone, but will have a focus on serving the minority populations in this area. As the rollout of COVID vaccines to children as young as 5 begins, there's a renewed focus on equity.
It's really nice to have the clinic here just because they know us, they trust us.
Pinnacle Charter School will host a community clinic this month with a focus on the area's minority population. It's part of the state's Vaccine for All program. Dr. Oswaldo Granardo, tri-chair for the Colorado Vaccine Equity Task Force, says this is a welcome direction.
There have been lots of lessons learned about leading with equity, making sure that those communities of color, those people, those underserved groups are really getting the vaccines.
He says when it comes to children, the effort needs to be focused on parents and making access work with family life.
If someone is working a job where they can't get off, and they then are faced with taking time off of work or getting a vaccine for their children, they'll probably take staying at work.
Pinnacle Charter CEO Chad Miller says a lot of thought went into their clinic with that need in mind.
We've got this down to a science. A lot of families will be able to come all together and then get what they need.
He's hopeful their relationships will lead to a successful clinic. Now, the clinic here at Pinnacle Charter will be held November 19th from 3 to 7. We have more information on how to find a clinic that offers children's vaccines online at cbsdenver.com. For now, we're live in Federal Heights. Karen Morfitt covering Colorado First.
Thank you, Karen.
It could save lives. Today, those students received active shooter training from law enforcement professionals.
And Denver 7's Jessica Porter spoke to the team behind this new program, and they say lockdown drills, they're outdated.
If something bad is happening out here in the hallway,
I think it's good.
We don't do nothing.
But also sad that we have to learn this.
Anybody have any questions on it?
Because of society and how crazy it is.
7th grader Luis Marquez and his classmates are learning hands-on.
You look out and see a man with a gun.
Active shooter training at Pinnacle Charter School.
What was one of the most valuable things you took from today?
Wrestling.
Wrestling?
Yeah. It was teaching me like how to react and how to do it.
TAC One Consulting, a firm that started in 2007 by teaching law enforcement.
A team stays together, don't we?
Is providing the training for students at this K-12 school.
You know, no one wants to be a victim anymore. So, you know, again, leaving people in the dark, not allowing them to be aggressive or pick the appropriate response. You know, that's kind of the new trend.
This is no lockdown drill. Students learn how to barricade the classroom door, CPR and self-defense.
So remember, nice big bear hug, tuck your head in.
In this simulation, teachers take down the active shooter, and the students are taught how to hold the suspect down.
You don't want to freak them out and stress them out so much, but you want it to be realistic so that, you know, they can learn.
We took him down.
Luis found the training valuable, but admits he doesn't think he's capable of stopping a shooter.
Oh, no. I get very nervous when something bad happens. Yeah, because one time my house alarm went off, and I was trying to call my mom, and I didn't know how. Like, I forgot how to use my phone.
Deedon says everyone has a role in prevention and response. The TAC One trainers stress doing something is better than doing nothing.
Because everybody's little something adds up to a huge something for the campus, right?
TAC One Consulting says this is the first time they have done an active shooter training for students in Colorado. They're hoping other school districts and schools would like to expand this training for their students as well. From Federal Heights, Jessica Porter, Denver 7.